Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the class. In the last class we discussed about remainder theorem. In the remainder theorem it said that p of x is a polynomial of positive degree and a is any definite number. The remainder of the division of p of x by x minus a will be p of a. That means if you find out the value of p of a, that value will be the remainder of p of x. So an example is shown on in example 6. Now it was your homework, the activity, like in the activity there were some problems I gave you as example. Hope you have done, all of you have done it perfectly. And now we'll discuss about the proposition 2. If p of x is a polynomial of positive degree and a not equal to 0, then the remainder of the division of p of x by x plus b will be p of b minus b by a, p of minus b by a. That means here you need to put the value of this constant part and the coefficient of x and take their negative. So here is the example 7. Here p of x is given and here the x has a coefficient 2 and the constant part is -1. So we need to find out the remainder. How can you find out the remainder? First, the constant will be the numerator and the coefficient of x will be the denominator. So 1 by 2, there is -1. So if you take the negative, minus minus plus, so you need to find out the value of p of half. So this will be the remainder of p of x. Another example, if dividing p of x by x minus 2 results the remainder 6, then find the value of a. In this problem you need to find out the value of a which is unknown. So at first you will use the theorem. You will find out the value of p of 2 because it is divided by x minus 2. So p of 2, the value is 70 minus twice a, and with the given condition they have said the remainder will be 6. So this 70 minus 2a is equal to 6 according to the question. So if you solve this, we will get the value of a will be 32. So example 9, if p of x is equal to x cubed plus 5x squared plus 6x plus 8 yields the same remainder upon division by x minus a and x minus b, where a is not equal to b, show that a squared plus b squared plus ab plus 5a plus 5b plus 6 is equal to 0. Solution: dividing p of x by x minus a yields remainder this. So how have you found it? We have used the remainder theorem. So we have we put the value of a in the polynomial p of x in place of x. So it will be a cube plus 5a squared plus 6a plus 8. And again similarly we'll find the polynomial value for b. So p of b will be like this, and by the condition in the question it is said that the remainder will be same. So this p of a and p of b will be same, so we can write this equal. And now calculating this, we have we find this. And here, since in the question it is said that a not equal to b, that means a minus b will not be equal to 0. So we can divide this equation by a minus b. If a is equal to b. We cannot divide it by a minus b, because that time a minus b would be 0, but here it is said that a not equal to b, so we can divide this equation by a minus b, because a minus b is non-zero. So we will get this, and that is in our question they told you to prove that, show that this, and we have got this, so the question is solved. And here is another very important theorem. This is called factor theorem. If p of x is a polynomial of positive degree, and if p of a is equal to 0, so x minus a is a factor of p of x. That means if you take any polynomial p of x of positive degree, and you find that p of a is equal to 0, you can say that x minus this a is a factor of p of x. And there is another theorem. This is the converse of factor theorem. That means the opposite. If x minus a is a factor of the polynomial p of x, show that p of a is equal to 0. That means if x minus is a factor of the polynomial p of x, you can say that p of a is equal to 0. Now in example 10, show that x minus a will be a factor of p of x. That is, if and only if a plus b plus c plus d is equal to 0. So how can you prove that? In the condition it is given that this is 0. Now it will show that x minus a will be a factor, so you need to find out the value of p of 1. So p of 1 is equal to, you can see that a plus b plus c plus d is equal to 0. So from the factor theorem, you know that if p of a, if you divide by x minus a, if p of a is equal to 0, then x minus a is the factor. Here it is divided by x minus 1, and you can find that p of 1 is equal to 0, so we can say that x minus a is a factor of p of x by the factor theorem. And if you want to prove that the converse theorem, we can say that, let's assume x minus is a factor, so by the converse factor theorem we can say that p of 1 is equal to 0. From that we can say that a plus b plus c plus d is equal to 0. So we can say if x minus a will be a factor of px if and only if a plus b plus c plus d is equal to 0. If and only if means you need to prove this condition in both way, in the a normal way and in the converse way also. So I think this is enough for this class. We will discuss more in the next class inshallah. Until this, Allah Hafiz.